Good morning. This is the Eager Beaver Show.
You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver Media Incorporated podcast. The True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Misfit Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters, CanadianTarot.com, your uniquely Canadian online eclectic tarot community, and the Peppermaster, hot pepper sauces made from farm-fresh ingredients to thrill your taste buds and expand your mind. Well, good morning and hello, kids, and welcome to season 3 and episode number 345, 6, 7. No, 347 of the Daily Beaver Morning Show here on the Crier Media Network. Yeah. Jazz hands. Or we will rock your hands. We will rock your hands. Yeah. Fired up. Today, recording. What?
You're really getting into spirit of the show that you're about to
Yes.
start.
The Daily Beaver Morning Show. For your rockin' good politics. I'm your host, the Eager Beaver. Pronouns he, him, hey, Mr. Beaver A. And today is Wednesday, March 27th. Official dress rehearsal with Cast Day for We Will Rock You in Kingston. And I'm a very tired beaver, kids. We'll get into that later. Big thank you goes to our podcast's founding sponsors, the Peppermaster, the Misfit Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, and CanadianTarot.com. With me, as always, as you can hear, is my good friend, Mr. Grizzly. And, sir, how's your mental health doing today? Sir?
I think, sir, that my mental health is doing quite good, actually. I think so. I'm not, I'm just on my first cup of coffee. And I'm a little absent-minded this morning because I was telling you just a moment ago, I woke up, I got out of bed, wake up at 5 and fall back to sleep and then get out of bed at 6. I've been doing that for years, right? Because that's how I have to wake up. So I get out of bed at 6, although I slept until 6:10, got up, took a shower, jumped on the computer, got everything set up to go. And then my intention was to take Ms. Lola out for a walk. And I just kept working away. And then I got the message from you and put a message up. We'll start shortly, blah, 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 blah. And Bridget comes over. She goes, are you going to take Miss thing out? I'm like, oh, shit. I just got sidetracked because, my squirrel ADHD brain saw a squirrel and followed it down a rabbit hole, as it turned out. And I forgot to take the dog out. So we're going to have to cut out at 8:15 at the latest. I got to be off the air so I can take her out for a walk before I go to the office. So, yeah.
All right. All good.
Yes, I did paint Lola's nails last night because she had one. Well, Bridget did one paw yesterday and the other paw was not done. And I'm like, well, we can't have one done and one not done. So I just held her paw up and painted her nails so she'd have nice pink nails.
Aww, that's so cute.
That's what a daddy does, right?
That's what they tell me.
Oh, Lola's chill as can be. She's fine. I took her out for a long walk, 2 long walks last night. She's probably a little dehydrated right now, to be honest with you. So there's no panic about her making a mess in the house. She just doesn't do that. So, but she'll be fine.
Okay.
I'll take her out. She'll be okay.
All right.
Why is Serb trending on Twitter?
I have
the program's been going for like 3 years.
Yeah, I wouldn't know right now. Kids and Cubs, to be totally honest, I do have some news for you, but I'm sure that if you're an Ontario kid, you're probably going to want to low down on the Ontario budget. I have to be completely honest with you. That's probably not going to happen
Yeah, I haven't had a chance
because,
to look at it at all yet, to be honest
yeah,
with you. I've been too busy, so.
yeah. Yesterday, I left home at I think it was 10:30 in the morning to go to an appointment with my physiotherapist, and then after that, I had a curling match, and then I went straight to tube rehearsal, and did not get home until about 1:30 in the morning.
Oh, my.
It was a very, very long day,
Wow.
and a very, very, very short night by the time I got to bed. So if I trip over my words or if I sound like I've just gotten out of like I slept in the bathtub last night or something, uh, you're um, you're not imagining things. Okay, so I don't have that news for you. Although I know some basic things that the Ontario budget came in announcing a $10 billion, 9.8 to be precise, deficit. I believe, which is the highest deficit recorded in a non-COVID year.
Yeah.
Might even be the highest deficit ever, I think,
He's
because
supposed to be
there
the
was a lot of
fiscally responsible conservative.
yes.
He's run a deficit every year and pissed our money away.
Yeah, and I believe when he got the reins of government, he did have a surplus. The Liberals had just gotten into surplus under Kathleen Wynne.
Mm.
But yes, one of the biggest deficitory. Yes, exactly. They claimed that there would be a $2 million surplus. So it reminds me a little
200
bit
million.
back in the days, right before the 2008 crash, when Jim Flaherty said, "Oh no, don't worry. There's some budgetary pressures, but all we have to do is kneecap all the other political parties' ability to actually have money to run their affairs and make one or two little changes here, and we'll be fine." And then he came in a couple months later. Oh, wait a minute. That budget that I said was just going to be this little thing, turns out it's going to be a $35 billion deficit. And then came out another 2 months later or something like that. So, oh, did I say 35 billion? I meant 50 something.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Not a particularly good finance minister, just let me put it that way, given that they all claimed they didn't see it coming, which was very interesting because my financial advisor got me out of everything US in June of that year, and the things crashed in September.
So you had a very good financial advisor in that case.
Yes. I'm saying if my financial advisor saw it coming in June, there's no way that the federal government didn't see it coming in September or October, especially when it gets all the data.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And you can start to see the downturn about 3 months before it happens.
Well, if you're good at your job, one would hope, right?
Right. So yeah, that definitely was not true, and that falls on the heels of a Quebec budget that was dropped a few weeks ago, which was also the highest, biggest deficit in non-COVID year, if not the biggest deficit in the history of Quebec, being claimed there. And the reason why I'm not quite sure off the top of my head if it's the biggest deficit in their history or just non-COVID deficit is because the provinces received tons of transfers during the COVID years to try and balance things out. So they didn't go into debt as much as the federal government had to do in that case. So yeah, we have two ideologically conservative governments, both of them that inherited surpluses from their predecessors. Their liberal predecessors were running massive deficits. And how do I put it? There was a time I remember where running deficits like this, if it was an emergency situation, that was considered very bad. In fact, the current crop of federal conservatives consider running a deficit, even in an emergency situation, being a bad thing, as they've let us know so many times. We weren't worth the money the federal government spent on us during COVID. Apparently they spent too much, and they should have cut that off way sooner. So that's the conservative ideology. So yeah, you do with that information what you will, kids. But that once again, the political trope that the NDP, as soon as you elect them, the finances of whatever jurisdiction they're elected in immediately go to pot. But if you elect a conservative, everything is wonderful. Proves again to be nothing but that, a myth. And these are provincial budgets that are coming in now, but just a reminder that a conservative government hasn't actually posted a true surplus budget in over 100 years.
100 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. And Harper's last year doesn't count.
Why is that?
Because he did the fire sale of the GM shares in order to artificially, quote unquote, balance the budget.
Yeah. It wasn't actually balanced.
Yes, he sold a public asset at a loss. So how much are we missing to balance that budget? $1.7 billion. I sold those GM shares for $1.7 billion or 1.9 or something. So I don't know what the actual number is, but just enough to cover it. Let's put it that way. And then can say, hey, I brought us back into surplus. I can't believe what Justin Trudeau did with the surplus that we left him. It wasn't a surplus. It wasn't a surplus. He fire-saled an asset. Good, James. Thank you. Yes, nice goatee. I'm trying to get the microphone to stand on, to stay on because I tend to sweat. So, for people wondering, dress rehearsal yesterday, successful, but very, very, very long. We were hoping to do a Q to Q beforehand, but I think there were some technical issues, and we got started a little later than we had wanted. We were hoping to be out by 11.
Didn't quite work out that way.
And we were hoping to have a Q to Q. That didn't happen either. So the band and the lights and the sound went together, and I guess we tried to do the Q to Q simultaneously with our dress rehearsal because we would have probably been there until about 3. First act went terrible for me.
Oh
God. Well, I realized because I've been practicing in dance slippers on a tiled floor, on a wood stage, and in Doc Martens, apparently pirouettes are not that easy.
I don't imagine they would be.
No, they kind of stick. So a couple of my dance moves quite didn't work yesterday. I fell off the riser at one point while dancing.
That's not good.
Nope. When they put the mic on, we forgot to do the thing where you tug in the back to give some room if you're moving your head. So as soon as I moved my head, I was pulling on the mic and it went flying off. One time when I was dancing a little too vigorously, the mic pack actually gets hooked into the waistband of your pocket of your pants in the back. It just popped off and landed on the floor. Mic wouldn't stay on. Mic pack won't stay on. Falling off risers. Couple traffic jam collisions while changing set pieces. So yeah, I went back into the green room after the first act. Says, "Well, that kind of sucked for me." But usually they say bad dress rehearsal, great opening night. Second half went way better. way better
for you then, sir.
And what's the other thing is, and a lot of the girls think that I'm cute. So, which, you know what? Hey,
there's just that, right?
Hey, I'll take it. I'm not. I'm not typically popular in the women department.
Well, it's not really your area of expertise.
It isn't. Oh my God. And for kids and cubs who are wondering, here we go. This is my rocker look.
Yeah, it's definitely you got like a 80s metal thing going on there for sure. You look like you're from, I don't know. You can't smile. You got to look mean. You got to look like Lemmy from. See, you're smiling. That ruins the whole.
Well, yes, that one does.
Star.
That's why I did that one at first.
That's what you need. That's the look you're going for right there. That's the one. It's like, I'm a badass rocker.
Yeah. So we're having a lot of fun. I look like the villain in Aladdin. We Will Rock You, starring Jafar.
So, okay, sure. Yeah, I guess.
What will you rock, Prince Abubu?
Nuno. You're thinking Nuno Betancourt, who is 58 years old and does not look a day over 35.
Oh man. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. So yes, tonight will be dress rehearsal with audience. Hopefully it will go well, and we'll be able to correct all the little glitches, and then we'll be ready for opening night. Sold out opening night. Woohoo! Rock and roll! All right.
Nice.
In the news, Kits and Cubs. Let's see. What have we got here? Because I can't really do much budget stuff for you. I'm so sorry. The Parliamentary Committee on China-Canada Relations yesterday decided to investigate the firing of 2 scientists from Winnipeg's microbiology lab. Now, the reason for which this is somewhat notable is because you'll remember a couple weeks ago, the Conservatives tried to make a big scandal of the fact that they brought this to committee, and the committee rejected it. And the Liberals were trying to cover up this thing that happened. And then we found out that the Conservatives actually brought it to the wrong committee. So they deliberately brought it to the wrong committee for it to get turned down so that they can go cry and say, oh my God, they're covering it up, send a whole bunch of fundraising emails, raise some money and all that kind of stuff. And everybody at the time was saying, you know where you should have brought that? You should have brought that to the China-Canada Relations Committee. So what did they do? They brought it to the China-Canada Relations Committee. And what happened? They decided to investigate it. Surprise!
I've got your doppelganger here.
Oh, yeah.
That's Nuno Betancourt from Extreme.
Okay,
He's 58 years old.
Dang.
58.
Good.
Yeah.
Dan, I hope 58 does that for me.
Well, did you know?
He's been drinking water and milk.
Yeah. Well, he was, when Rihanna played the halftime show at the Super Bowl a couple of years ago.
Okay.
Not the most recent, but the year before. He was the guitar player for her.
Nice.
Yeah, he was on stage. If you look, you can see him for a split second, but yeah, he was playing guitar for her.
All right. Cool. So, they brought it to the right committee, and the committee decided, you know what? Yeah, we will investigate this. So much for conservative victimhood. Just to bring you up to date, in case you're not familiar, there were intelligence documents released last month that indicated that the Winnipeg, that the 2 scientists in question had been sharing information with China. Canada is preparing to build another level 4 lab based at the University of Saskatchewan. For these types of things, because people are wondering, well, gee, do we really need 2 such labs? Apparently, there is room enough for 2 labs like this in Canada. One of them might be focused on basic science and public health, and the other one will be focused on, thanks Trudeau, producing vaccines and therapeutics. Something we used to do, then stopped. And one of the intriguing things about this story is that one of the 2 scientists had actually developed a vaccine for Ebola.
Oh, yes.
During the time that Harper was prime minister. And Harper made the decision first, rather than trying to develop the drug and market the drug and produce the drug in Canada and sell it to the world in Canada, he just took the intelligence rights and tried to sell them to some other country.
Of course he would.
For them to produce them and make the money.
Instead of, doing a homegrown Canadian thing that we can do.
We literally, conservatives that are apparently good at business.
No, they're not. They're good at selling us off to the highest bidder.
Yeah. Took intellectual property. Hold on. Took intellectual property. Yes. An Ebola virus, which you think would be a big seller.
Yeah, because that kills, like, its mortality rate is like 97% or something like that.
And said, you know what? We don't need to make that in Canada. Let's just sell it to someone else and let them reap all the rewards. Let's just pull it out of the ground, put it on a train or put it in a pipeline and ship it somewhere else. And then buy it back at 10 times the price. The same thing we've been doing for whatever. And then when the money comes in, let's pat myself on the back and call ourselves geniuses because we ripped something out of the ground and put it on a train.
So much for fiscal conservatism, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, he was a former economist. You
Yes.
think as an economist he would know a little bit better, but no,
Yes.
he just sold it off to whoever would buy.
Oh yeah, they marketed him for years as a trained economist.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Trained
Did he flunk out? Because holy shit.
Trained to do what is a question. But yes, we're prepared to be we're going to be building a second lab there, and this one's the second one might be producing therapeutics and vaccines. Remember also that under this prime minister, the first manufacturing plant to produce an mRNA vaccine outside of the countries that already had it at the time that COVID started was given to Canada via through Moderna for that vaccine. So this federal government is doing a lot to bring that industry back to Canada. As of last year, there were 51 level 4 labs in 24 countries across the world. That's roughly double the was 10 years ago. And that there are another 18 across the world being planned, including the one in Saskatchewan. So this is a global effort to get more of these labs because I guess people are recognizing that with climate change, a lot of diseases that are known to be common in other parts of the world, but not here, will start to travel and migrate. Like there are already cases of malaria that are not from travel in the south of the United States. That's not typical. So there's going to be more of these tropical illnesses that are going to start traveling with climate warming. So we probably will want viruses for them because
no.
Not viruses, vaccines for them. Sorry.
We don't want viruses for them.
I told you it was going to be a rough morning. So yes, we will want vaccines for them because, of course, the other thing is that the economics of vaccines is if it's a tropical illness and it's killing a lot of people, but it's killing a lot of people in the southern hemisphere and it's not really here. We don't finance vaccine research for those things. But once they start traveling, then all of a sudden we find a little incentive.
Yeah.
So that is going on over there. Let's see, what else do we have? If you have anything, Mr. Grizzly, fill in because I'm winging it this morning.
Oh, yeah, no problem. I've got a couple of things here. First on Tyler Watt, our friend Tyler.
Yes.
We had done an interview with Tyler back when he was running for be a member of the Liberal Party as an MPP in Ottawa South, I think. I can't remember. Anyway, I got a comment from him in relationship to a comment Dr. Adil Shamji wrote. He says, as we learned that Ford Nation and Sylvia Jones spent $1 billion on agency nurses and personal support workers last year.
Yeah.
That's private for-profit health care. Most of those agency nurses fall under the ownership of a company that former Premier of Ontario, Mike Harris's wife owns, and he sits on the board of.
Yep.
I'd like to remind everyone that this is a choice. Ford's Conservatives could have passed my bill to license and regulate temporary staffing agencies, but instead chose to let the financial exploitation of our hospitals and long-term care homes continue unopposed. And Tyler's comment to this was, wow, $1 billion of taxpayer money spent on agency nurses. All while the Ford Conservatives were fighting nurses and public sector workers in court to keep our wages frozen. I thought Premier Ford's reason for this was to save money. He just spent more of it. You see, here's the thing. He doesn't want to give money to the people who actually work their asses off to earn it. He wants to give it to his wealthy friends who own the companies, the private for-profit healthcare companies, at double to triple the price of what our public sector workers get paid. But the employees aren't getting double to triple. That goes to the agency.
Yes, he's inserting middlemen all over the place.
He's screwing us over because he doesn't give a shit about a single person in this province who is not a wealthy donor.
Mm-hmm. And that's similar to what happened in New Brunswick, where they were trumpeting with their budget, largest healthcare spending budget in New Brunswick history. But as I keep on reminding you kids, if the budget the following year is $1 more than the budget of the previous year, it is
the largest in history. $1.
Oh. Yeah, exactly. It is a record spending. So that itself is not impressive. The spending, you really have to start looking at spending per capita, and it would be really, really, really nice if reporters started
Digging.
reporting on budgets in that sense. How much are you spending? Yes, okay, I understand you're spending more than you spent last year, and that's a record, but how much are you spending per capita to keep up to population growth and inflation and all of that kind of stuff?
Cost of
And what
living.
are you spending on? What's it getting? Because, if you're spending $1 billion on healthcare, but you're paying 3 times the price for nurses, then we're not getting more healthcare.
Yeah, this is a good one. This one here. Paul Calandra stated that the government considers 11,000 new long-term care beds are part of the 16,000 housing units provided. A bed on a ward in a long-term care home is not a fucking house. Jesus Christ. They want to obfuscate to the nth degree.
Yep, indeed. And with regard to that, there's been some polling from polling companies, and the citizens are not buying that line from the government of Ontario that
they're not.
nursing home beds are actually homes.
They're not.
Yes, people are housed there, or warehoused, as we found out during COVID.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is not a home. And the federal government, I think recently, Prime Minister Trudeau came out with something indicating just how much, or the Liberals did, how much Doug Ford did not do on housing. So this is a little interesting. And in his budget, I believe there was $1 billion specifically for some type of infrastructure fund to help with housing. But, well, as we can tell, Doug Ford's priority up until recently seemed to be actually transferring public wealth to developers and not actually providing housing per se. So, yeah.
It's all bad.
And, well, and the reason why they're trying to count LTC home beds as housing is to inflate their numbers, because they didn't build the housing. It's literally a PR exercise to sort of pump up the numbers, to make it look like they did more than they have, because they didn't do much. They really did not do much, kids and cubs. So now, other things that we have going on is that, remember when Pierre Poilievre made that promise a few weeks ago to really crack down on car theft? Well, we mentioned that one of his plans was to buy some type of scanners so that more crates could be scanned. And I thought, whoa, alert, there's conservative boondoggle. Right, we're going to put out a mass contract to buy a whole bunch of scanners for law enforcement so that we can scan shipping crates for cars. We don't know who we're going to buy that from yet, and all it says, but that's the plan. We're going to buy that. And Pierre Poilievre made the promise specifically that he was going to scan absolutely every.
I'll tell you right now how that's going to go. You're going to walk in to that port in Vancouver or Montreal, one or the other, and hand out all these scanners. Say, scan everything. And they're going to go, yep, we'll get right on that. And then they'll get tossed in the harbor or dropped from a high height so that they can't work anymore. Because here's the thing. No matter how good your government job is, no matter what they're paying you, no matter what your benefits are, they don't amount to jack shit when you've got some organization who will threaten you, your family, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, your great-great-grandchildren that will not be born for a long time yet. They're like, take this payment and look the other way, or you all die. Those scanners will disappear, or the job won't get done. And he is living in a fantasy world if he thinks otherwise. I live in the real world. I know what'll happen.
Yep. Well, according to our friend JB, he's also living in a fantasy world in another way. Because, according to JB, about 60,000 shipping containers leave Canada every single day. So in order to accomplish what he says he is going to do, 25,000 shipping containers need to be scanned per hour.
Yeah, you can't do that. There's not enough people.
Sorry, not 60,000. Sorry, 600,000 shipping containers leave Canada per day.
600,000.
600,000. So you'd have to scan 25,000 containers per hour. That's 416 containers per minute. Not sure where he's going to find the money to find all the bodies to do that, because isn't that another government bureaucracy?
Wouldn't that make him a big gatekeeper at the same time, too?
Yeah. Although listen, I don't mind having gatekeepers for cars going out of the country that have been stolen.
No,
There's this place that we
agreed.
need gatekeepers.
Agreed. I'm
Remove the gate.
I'm for gatekeepers. He's an
but
asshole.
yes, I know that. Exactly. He's removing the gatekeepers, but not really, not all of them. He's placing a lot of them in certain places that they're where they should be. And here he has a plan to place them where they should be, but unrealistically. So people should be asking him about the scanners, their technology, and a list of players available to provide them at the moment. Sounds like a Rive Can for cars now. Yeah, it does. Because, like I said, a journalist should be sitting there going, about your plan to do these scanners. Which scanners?
Mm-hmm.
What's the technological requirements? Which players currently in Canada or around the world are able to provide such scanners?
Do you know how much money we'd have to spend? You think a Rive Can at $59 million was a lot of money? You're not even
enough scanners
close
to scan 416 containers per minute. And you need a body for each one of those scanners. It's not like
we don't
someone
have
is like
robots
standing
yet to do it.
It's not like somebody standing between two containers with two scanners on side by side doing them at the same time. And I mean, you're scanning at a container. You need some time to look. When you're scanning, a container is big. So yeah, he's making a lot of interesting promises that if you sit down and you take some time to actually think them out and game them out, are not really possible.
Definitely not possible.
Yeah. So that's another thing that you need to be aware of, kits and cubs. Now there was this thing that came out yesterday, and from him, he sent out a greeting to Canada's Hindu community, because I'm hoping that I say this right, because he said it a couple different ways either. So I'm not sure if it's Holy or Holly.
Holly, yeah.
Holly?
I believe. I could be wrong, though.
Yeah, I'm preaching total ignorance here. Mm-hmm. I'm still getting used to Diwali, to be totally honest.
Yeah.
So these are... it's wonderful that we're sharing holidays of various cultures, especially for the communities for whom there's a large diaspora in Canada. But for those of us who are not of the culture, we're not necessarily familiar with all of them yet. I remember a time when I had no idea what Ramadan is either, but now I do. So, it'll take us a little time to get familiar with them. Mm-hmm. But Holly is the one that's being, and I say again, pardon me if I'm mispronouncing it, is the one being celebrated at the moment. And he delivered a message.
It's 44 seconds, so we don't have to stomach too much, okay? It's
yes, and he's not, for which he's not getting rave reviews. Let's put it this way.
Well, let's have a look then, shall we?
All right.
Every spring, Hindus and Indians from all walks of life celebrate Holi, the festival of colors. Recognized around the world for its inspirational spirit of joy, Holi is a time for giving thanks and coming together. It reminds us that just as winter must always give way to spring, we can overcome the challenges we face today. The brightness of Holi brings us comfort in dark times. When things feel broken, it reminds us that there is always a reason to smile. On behalf of Canada's common sense conservatives, happy Holi, Holi High.
Yikes.
So he says Holly, he says holy, he says always. He also says almonds.
Well, I mean, that was clearly a one take off the teleprompter, and you could see that in parentheses, it was the word smile was written in there. You know damn well.
Yes.
Make you happy. And he smiles, because smile was written in the script. I guarantee it. I guarantee it.
Yeah. This looks like it's also, I need to do this. My limo is leaving for the fundraiser in 2 minutes, so let's crank this out. I cannot believe his team actually put it in. If you listen to it again, when he says joy, I felt no joy whatsoever. So this again, do you remember how at Christmas we talked about his recycled eggnog video?
Mm-hmm. Where
Oh.
did he go for Christmas? We still don't know.
Yes, with the claw.
Yeah.
He put on Anna, who kept on trying to go, "Ugh," squeeze away. And, you know, he's like, and now we're here for the joy of the Christmas season. Why don't you, like, and there was like absolutely no joy. The same level of joy here.
Mm.
The same, yes, as Kit Saucy. Geppetto needs to do some more work on his puppet. Someday you'll be a real boy. Yeah, that didn't go over well at all. Somewhere in Canada, Tom Mulcair is looking at that and cringing at that smile. That's how bad that smile was. Okay. Anybody remembers the debates when Tom Mulcair smiled?
Yeah.
Or I guess that was smiled. I'm not sure what it was he was
I don't
doing.
know.
Yeah, this is right up there with that. And also right up there with Kelly Leach's. Remember that video, that weird one that she did that was like, had all these cuts with her from a weird angle, and every now and then she turned and she'd just like smile, and then there was another cut. This hour's 22 minutes did a brilliant one on that. That's one of the funniest ones out there. So anyway, yeah, I expect this hour's to 22 minutes to have a field day with this one.
Oh yeah. It should be. I'm really looking forward to it. And the guy who does the Pierre Poilievre impression on this hours nails it every single time.
Oh yes.
So, you remember the episode of the Rick Mercer report when he came out when he had smug wipes? Remember smug wipes?
Yes. 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 The smug wipes. You could smush his little face. Gee, I feel better already. Oh, it even smells fresh. Oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man.
So
You got
Naheed Nenshi.
Yes. Yes, please. Yes.
And you see how he now has a woman who was running to be NDP leader is now pulled out of the race. She was only in there for about 2 weeks, but she's decided to step down and support him instead.
Yes, Rakhi Pancholi.
Yes.
Again, sorry mispronouncing the name, but yes, they're down to 5 candidates.
Yeah, and she came out. Where is it? I had it here a moment ago. Oh, there, Rakhi Pancholi. Pancholi. I'm not sure how to pronounce her name.
Pancholi, maybe. Yes. Sorry.
Right. But she says, running for Alberta NDP leader has been the honor of my career. I'm so proud of the bold, hopeful, and optimistic story we told about Alberta. But today I'm ending my campaign to support Naheed Nenshi and our shared goal of growing this party in every corner of our province. I think when you start to see more and more people drop out of the race to support him, and this will happen because there were quite a number of people that entered the race, I think you're going to see more and more do this. And as a result, it's going to have guys like David Parker running scared.
Mm.
Now, Parker's under a microscope right now with Elections Alberta.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you saw his commentary the other day saying, well, I'm not showing you those donations or who they came from. They're rich and powerful people, and they don't like it when you investigate them. Oh, so you're saying they're above the law or they're criminals? Which one is it, David? Let us know, please. We'll wait to see you carted off in an orange jumpsuit because it's going to happen if you keep it up. And you've no one to blame but yourself and your greedy ambition that is trying to take rights away from people because you don't like people to have equal rights. You Christo-fascist asshole. Yeah, I said it. I'll say it to your face if you have the balls to come on this show. I'll tell you exactly what I think of you. And then I'll sit quietly in the shadows while Mr. Beaver would maybe have a conversation. I would just bitch at him for 15 minutes. That's it. I have nothing positive to say about the man. Not a single thing. He's a two-faced, lying, duplicitous shit who wants to rob people of their rights. And he can't even tell the truth when he's trying to be honest. When we saw him on Dean's show and he went about, I forgive Justin Trudeau for taking away my rights. Justin Trudeau never took a single right away from you, you lying little shit. That was the premier of your province of Alberta at the time, Jason Kenney, the man you brought down because you didn't like the fact that he was not robbing people of their rights quick enough for your likes. Sorry, Ed. Every time I read something about that man, it just makes my blood boil. Because he's dangerous to democracy. And he's starting, the way we said he would, invading local school boards first. Parachuting in his right-wing Christo-fascist, evangelical, hateful, hate-mongering individuals who say, but Jesus loves you, and I'm going to rob you of your rights. I'm going to rob you of your bodily autonomy. I'm going to take away the things that are most sacred to you. And he's going to drop in these Christo-fascist, evangelical, right-wing nut jobs because they are. I'm sorry, if you call human beings, children, fecal matter in cookie dough, you're scum.
Mm-hmm. I've got a clip there for you, Mr. Grizzly. Speaking to Isaac Lamoureux, who is from, he labels himself as a journalist that's doing a lot of heavy lifting there for the True North Center, the other True North, the other white True North.
Yeah. I'll put the clip up for those who want to see it.
The other wet meat.
It's 36 seconds, so let's just watch this.
So if the ruling went in their favor and they determined that all of your stuff was elections advertising, would you be forced to hand over your donor information to them?
Well, they would try to force me to. Yeah.
Do you see that as any
I won't do it.
likelihood? No, even if
No.
a ruling came.
No, this is just an attempt by the government, and I mean by that I don't mean necessarily the elected government. I mean the bureaucratic state to thwart democracy, and I'll fight that as far as I have to.
So if the ruling went,
So this duplicitous shit will not honor. It's like give us the donor list. I'm not doing that. But you have to. It's a requirement under the Elections Act. I'm not doing it. I see. So you're above the law, is what you're saying. This is who we're dealing with. This is not a good person. This man is the furthest thing from a Christian that a Christian could be. I know this because I know a lot of Christians. This man is not Christ-like in any way, shape, or fashion. If Christ were here today, alive, he would smite him. Cast him out. This is not a good person.
Indeed. Absolutely. And,
well, the definition of an asshole is someone who believes that the rules ordinary people obey don't apply to them. He's an asshole. I mean, come on. What is bureaucracy? There are rules in elections. We need to see your donor list. I'm not showing you. Well, you have to. I'm not showing you. So he'll become a martyr and get marched off in an orange jumpsuit to look heroic to his people. How much you want to bet that's what he's playing here? How much you want to bet that's his game? He needs to look like a martyr to his followers so he can look like a hero. This guy gives me David Koresh vibes. And yes, Linda, you are correct. He'll use it to grift more money. Oh, yeah. I have a visitor right beside me now.
You do?
Yeah.
Is it Miss Lola?
Yeah, Miss Lola. She's just curled up in the bed. And she's doing her I've got a pee daddy dance. So we're going to wrap it. We got to wrap up because I don't want to clean up a mess here. Sorry. We had a late start and an early finish today, folks. Sometimes that's just how things go. Hey, and look, Mr. Beaver was super tired and got, 4 hours sleep, if that?
Less. fewer.
Yeah, so less than 4 hours. So you're
Barely
not fully
3.
functioning this morning. Yeah. Well, oh God, you got to get a nap in today at some time. Look, it's a myth that you need 8 hours sleep. Everybody's body clock is different. Some people need 12, some people need 8, some people need 6. I only need 6. They have found that you can function on 4, but less than 4, you are not fully functioning as a human being. You're going to forget little things. You're going to drop. You're going to make mistakes. Do not operate motorized or mechanized vehicles after less than 4 hours sleep, because you are a danger to yourself and everyone around you. So, sir, please get a nap in at some time today if you can.
Yes.
I don't want you to hurt yourself.
That is, no. I don't want to hurt myself either. And there's a little lift as well in the numbers, so I don't want to drop my dance partner.
Oh, goodness, no. Goodness, no. Goodness, no.
I wanted you to put this up too, since we were talking
Sure.
about David Parker before we go here. And it's this thing here.
Okay, let me just
Remember when he
quickly.
went on to Dean's show and said he apologized and asked for forgiveness and then put out something in?
Yeah, and then he did this.
9 days later.
9 days later.
9 days later, he did this.
This
for
man's
those
heart is filled with hatred.
For those watching, listening at home,
It's a pride flag.
It's a pride flag on fire.
Yeah. And he's got what's his symbols? He's got
I'm not sure what the first one is.
I can't make out the first one, but it's an arm flex and then praying hands.
Yeah.
Pray for strength. I don't know what he's praying for. Hatred. That people of the rainbow community burn in hell, or burn, or die, or disappear off the face of the earth. What is he asking for? He's a hateful, duplicitous asshole. And I would love to tell that to his face.
Yeah. So he was doing this. So I have a feeling that, for all his, because I didn't speak truth in love.
Yeah.
Thing. And I dishonored my Christ when I did that, and that lasted all 9 days. He's going to have another apology tour again.
Oh yeah,
have to give up. I sinned, and I didn't speak truth in love, and I guess I'm going to have to get down on my knees and ask Christ for his forgiveness, which of course he will guarantee give me, because Christ forgives all. And then I'll just go back to doing it again. One of his things, but yeah, this act. I don't know about you, but I'm bored with it.
Yeah.
Already. And the number one sin on social media, don't be boring.
Well, his supporters love it, but fuck him. Oh, interesting. Apparently Dean's having him on today, so we'll see his new apology. God, I'd love to be able to appear in that today, but I'm in the office all day and I got stuff to take care of.
Why does he bother?
I don't know. But I hope.
I mean, but here's the thing. See, I understand it as an exercise for the first time, and if there was something that had actually happened on the show that was of any type of interest or this, but we heard him, we heard his perspective. He came here to talk about certain things. He decided to make it about other stuff, and went into a whole bunch of whatever it is that he goes into. I didn't come out of that conversation particularly more edified. There didn't seem to be much more reason for part 2. There wasn't anything to build on really there. Then he said he wasn't coming back after he got some heat, and now all of a sudden he's coming back again. So I don't know if he's, he just needs some visibility again. But I personally won't be watching.
I don't know.
I'm not sure I'm going to get. Well, actually, you know what? Actually, that's not true. I might watch it to see what happens this time. If there's some adjustments.
Yeah.
No. But listen, if Dean is very happy with the product that he'd made, right? It's his show.
Yeah.
He's happy with the product. That's good. If that's what the product is going to be when it comes to David Parker, there's not much in it for me personally, other than watching someone ramble and move goalposts and stuff. And, my time is precious. But part of me also is wondering whether or not, because I also know that Dean has long-term.
Yes.
He's a long-term thinker. So the first episode might have been one thing, and there might have been a plan for the second one, and then Parker pulled out, and maybe there will be a time to do that. So there might be some adjustments. So I would like to see how that, if I watch it, would be from that perspective, to see if there's any alteration, if there, if he's proceeding ahead with what he thinks is the correct formula, or whether or not he incorporated some of the feedback. But for David Parker, what David Parker has to say specifically, no interest, because I don't assume it's going to be any better. Or, I've seen a song and dance act now a couple of times where, he tries to bring religion in it into some way and then acts terribly, and, then tries to claim some type of victimhood status, but also some underdog status, that, he's a man with failings, so we got to root for him because he's trying to do better. And I'm just not
buying it,
willing to extend the dumbass benefit of doubt, or the dumbass deficit to him anymore. This man knows what he's doing, and he's not a good person.
Exactly. Okay, I got to wrap. I got a dog who's about ready to piss on my floor here.
All right, kids and cubs. That's the end of this episode of the Daily Beaver Morning Show. We hope that you love listening to us, because we loved making this for you. Apologies, kids and cubs, that this is not up to my usual standard, but I do very much thank you for your indulgence. Tried to give you the best that I had today on very little sleep and very little preparation time.
Okay.
But I did want to come in and spend some time with you today, kids and cubs, because, you're kind of an essential part to my day as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
My day, my weekdays do not feel complete unless I spend some time with my damn fam. So I thank you for your indulgence in accepting a slightly lesser informative podcast today, and slightly lower quality, slightly more disjointed, but hopefully after tonight I will get home at a regular hour, and hopefully I won't have too much of an adrenaline rush.
Get some sleep,
and I will be able to deliver a show. But I promise I will take a nap during the afternoon to make sure that I'm in as good a shape as possible for tomorrow's show. So
get it in.
Yes. So again, thank you so much. We enjoyed making this for you. So if you can spread the word, because word of mouth is priceless and sharing is caring, we would very, very, very much appreciate that. Thank you very much. If you would like to subscribe to us to make sure that you do not miss an episode, that QR code that just appeared underneath my goatee, it brings you to our Podpage site, podpage.com/The True North Eager Beaver, lowercase letters with a hyphen between each one of those words. And thanks to the Ray Girl, if you click subscribe there, once we have something fresh off the bandwidth, we will come directly to you. If you would like to help us in other ways, you can go to our True North Eager Beaver Media Incorporated YouTube page, where we have 3 buttons there: like, share, and subscribe. Make like Kit Elaine today and go there and click on us. Help us get to 700. That's our next goal. We are 22 away as of the start of the show, unless somebody else has subscribed in the meantime. So thank you for all your support. And if you would like to support us in other ways, we are getting close to the end of the month. And if you would like to leave a couple of loonies or toonies in our tip jar because you've enjoyed the programming and the quality of the programming that we've had to present to you this month, we would very much appreciate that. A little donation to the Eager Beaver Lodge Emergency Hydration Fund makes sure that we can remain moist to bring this wonderful show to you. There you go.
I just got to turn my humidifier up, is all. We will, Linda. I just haven't had the time lately to create them. All right.
Man.
I'm gonna,
From the let's see, what else do we have? Because democracy is something that you do, please write those letters. Very, very important. From the Beaver Lodge, this is your eager beaver saying it could be a tough world out there, so please be kind to and gentle with yourself. Mr. Grizzly, some words of wisdom, please.
yeah, walk your doggy before they pee on the floor. I gotta go.
Okie dokie.
See ya.
You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver Media Incorporated podcast. The True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Misfit Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters, CanadianTarot.com, their uniquely Canadian online eclectic tarot community, and the Peppermaster, hot pepper sauces made from farm-fresh ingredients to thrill your taste buds and expand your mind. We are grateful to the Crier Media Network for its support, Pete Jarvis for our artwork, and Paul Joseph Something for our opening and closing sequence music.